Hey everybody, this episode of Dr. Drew After Dark is brought to you by Calm, Embark, and Upstart, but I'll tell you about them a bit later. Right now, let's get on with the show. Hi, I'm Dr. Drew, and this is Dr. Drew After Dark. Please be advised that Dr. Drew After Dark may contain sexually oriented content and be unsuitable for young children. And welcome to Dr. Drew After Dark, everybody. We appreciate you being part of the show and keeping those emails coming at drdrewafterdark@gmail.com. And, of course, the voice messages, 818-253-1693. You guys are too much. I don't know what to say about that. And don't forget the merchmethod.com/Tom Segura for the famous T-shirts. It is my privilege to welcome back Kelsey Cook. Kelsey, welcome.
Hi. Thank you for having me back.
You made a bit of an impact last time.
Did I?
Yeah, you did. And this email, for instance, reminded me of the impact you made. Kelsey Cook made me question my orgasm.
What the fuck? Oh, my God.
So something you said rang. Well, it actually it created a little shitstorm.
Why?
Because I think there's no more discriminated group than multi-orgasmic females. They're actively discriminated against because the women that can't do that call them liars.
Okay.
And then they're angry if you can.
Sure, yeah.
And others that can will sort of deny it because they don't want to be the object of all that scrutiny. And
well,
so
I really came in here blind. I didn't know. I just shouted it from the top.
You just spoke your truth.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
This was your truth zone, and it just rang true to people. So we'll get into all that. How is everything? You're touring right now? You got anything to promote?
It's great. Yeah, I'm touring. You can go to kelseycook.com for tour dates and tickets. I've got so many shows coming up. San Francisco, Tacoma Comedy Club for Valentine's Day weekend. I'll be at Dr. Grins in Grand Rapids. Just a bunch coming up. Then my Wrist of Fury Foosball web series is on YouTube. If you look that up on All Things Comedy's website. And then my podcast is Self-Helpless with.
Is anybody ever good at the Fist of Furies?
At Wrist of Fury? No, I mean.
No one's ever good.
We've had a couple comics come on who were okay, but I'm still undefeated, which is. I mean, that's like the point of the show is for nobody to beat me.
Do you play by yourself on one side and you have two on the other? I noticed
we've done that. We had like the Sklar brothers on,
right?
So they came and it was 2 against 1. They were so fun. We've had Taylor Tomlinson and Delaney Fisher come on 2 against 1. Adam Ray and Brad Williams was 2-on-1. So if your listeners don't know, it's my family and I are like pro foosball players. It's very weird.
It's very weird, and it's actually true.
It's actually true. Not making it up. It's not cool enough for me to make that shit up. I get no points for that.
This was your parents' thing. It wasn't your thing, was it?
Right. So they met playing in a professional foosball tournament.
Of course they did.
Of course they did.
But you're not a professional foosball player.
So I'm ranked. I'm technically like a world champion. It sounds so douchey to say, but like if you play and win at the world championships, like that's technically a title you have. But like I've played my whole life, but I don't.
Where's the world champion of foosball? Where is it held?
So it was in Dallas, Texas every year for a long time. Then it moved to Lexington, Kentucky.
Oh.
Yeah. All of the places that you would associate with professional foosball.
But actually there's a lot more foosball in the South, right?
Yeah. Yeah. South, it's very heavy out there. But it's all over. It's super fun. There's a documentary that's out in the next couple weeks called Foosballers that I'm in. It's done so well. I think everybody should check it out. It's really good.
Like get it. It's at Netflix.
It'll be on iTunes and stuff like that. Yeah.
iTunes. Foosballers. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not gonna. If I'm not enough of a nerd already.
You gotta go deep. Yeah.
So let's talk a little about the orgasm situation.
Okay.
So when you were here, you said you had 10 orgasms per sexual encounter.
Yeah.
Is that about right? Mm-hmm. Or were you underestimating? Just using a round number.
Well, now that you've said people are gonna hate me,
no. We got to empower the women.
Sure.
Because in all seriousness, so many. This has gone forever. We're gonna settle this now. Because over the years at Loveline and stuff, this would go on all the time. I'd been in rooms or lectures and stuff where this would come up, and immediately people would start going, "Oh, I don't believe that. I don't believe it." Or then they wouldn't even say it out loud; they'd say it later and stuff. So they just So let's talk about how some women are just configured differently. It's just a different experience for some women.
Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
No?
By the way, I just have to say, so I got a text like 3 days ago from the producer being like, "Hey, so Dr. Drew wants to have you back on. in particular because he wants to hear more about how you can have multiple orgasms. I was like, okay, well, that's not a text you get every day. This is so fucking weird. Like, what?
We're gonna settle this. We're gonna. This is gonna be the last word on this topic.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna do it.
Okay. So
You put gird your loins. Here we
go. So when I was growing up, like once I could figure out how to make myself come, which was kind of a journey. I think I talked a little bit about it last time. I've definitely talked about it on like the crab feast and the honeydew, that like one of the first times I tried masturbating, I ended up in the emergency room because I used like a handheld manicure tool as a dildo. And I didn't know I was allergic to latex at the time, and my vagina swelled shut.
Oh my God.
And I had to go to the ER.
Oh my God.
So I was...
What'd you tell your parents?
Oh, I had to tell my mom what I actually did. And then I had to tell the doctor what I actually did so that I could get the correct diagnosis.
Career in comedy right then.
Yeah.
Nothing could be ever more shameful than this.
My relationship with my mom changed forever. Like, that's a parent's nightmare. Your 15-year-old daughter, or I don't know, maybe 16, you think you know them, you think you have an idea of who they are, and then you walk in and you're like, so I don't know how to tell you this, but I just wanted to know what it was like down there. So I took that manicure tool you use for your nails.
Manicure tool?
So I'll pull up a picture. It's called the Relaxor, of course. And it's shaped like a dick. Like they hadn't noticed it was going to go inside teenage girls' pussies. Like there's no way you see that when you're 15 and not be like, well, I have a hole, so I'm going to see what this does to it. I don't know.
Pull up a picture.
Yeah. Let me try and find it.
Wait, look on the screen. Is it any
there it is. Here, up here. The Relaxor. There it is.
Yeah, so you see that white?
Oh, it looks like a vibrator.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
So if you don't use like the little head part for buffing your nails, you just use that handle.
Yeah, and
it's
does
all
it kind of vibrate when you...
Yeah, it's all tapered.
Okay.
That's going inside you.
Yeah, yeah. I get that.
Come on.
You're just curious.
It's not me. It's that was in my house.
Yeah.
It could have been anybody if that was in your house.
Yeah.
So, but I was blessed with the opportunity to...
and that whole handle is latex?
Yeah, it's like a grippy rubber material. So that was like the not.
Did it have it right away, or
did it have a what?
The reaction immediate, or
yeah, pretty much right away. I like sat spread eagle on my bathroom floor because I could like feel that something was wrong, and the hole was gone.
Oh my God! It burned. Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's how traumatic for
so
a
traumatizing.
girl.
So traumatizing. Like the first time you've done any, I hadn't had sex yet. That's the first time I'd really done any.
Seriously, you'd have to do something like comedy to recover from
that. 100%.
So,
well, and I didn't even talk about it on stage for years, and then I started to, and then I ended up in the last couple years doing the story on This Is Not Happening on Comedy Central, because like where else can you tell that story on TV besides that show? So anyway, that was a rough start, but then like once I got past that and started to just figure out how to do things just like, with my fingers or whatever, I realized I could make myself come over and over, and like the only reason I would stop would be because I was tired and dehydrated,
or was hurting or something.
Yeah.
Would you ever start hurt?
I mean, like maybe like a little sore or something.
And so there's different versions of this.
Okay.
Some women can have climaxes without a refractory phase.
Yeah, that's what I feel like I have.
But some sort of have almost it's like a continuous series. Whoops,
we're throwing pens.
It's like where they can have like 100. It's just like every contraction almost is like an orgasm.
Okay, I feel like I'll get to about maybe 20, and then I'm like, I have shit I have to get done today.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I have to pull myself together and get going.
And is that something that happens with intercourse also?
Yeah, I can do the same thing during intercourse.
And so we talked last time a little about the fact that something like oral sex is a little uncomfortable because it's too.
Yeah, it's it's fine. It's not. I don't think I'd call it uncomfortable, but it just doesn't really do for me the same thing as like just like me using like my own fingers on my clit or like during sex, that sort of a thing. But the feeling of a tongue down there isn't, I don't know, it just doesn't do as much.
And that's something also I've encountered that women can do this multiple. Either it feels uncomfortable or weird, or it just isn't satisfying in any way.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't think I'd ever call it unpleasant, but it's just not as high up on the
not the
list
real thing
for me. Yeah, exactly.
And have you shared this with other women growing up? And do they?
They hate me.
They hate you.
My friends give me shit. I mean, I've talked about it on the Self-Helpless podcast I do with Taylor Tomlinson and Delaney Fisher. We've done episodes on like orgasms and stuff like that, where Delaney is the type of person that needs. It's like all the stars have to line up for her to come.
Yeah.
It's like you got to use her body as like a bop it, where it's like, okay, like, pull this and lick this and touch,
That's very common.
Yeah. Whereas it's so much easier for me, it seems like. But we always joke about how like I'm allergic to everything on the planet, almost to like a disability point where I can go to the hospital at any time by like touching the wrong thing or eating the wrong thing.
Anaphylaxis.
Yeah. So
do you keep an EpiPen?
I have an EpiPen with me. Yeah. Jesus. So my friends have joked about this is how it balanced out for you.
Yeah.
Like you get to come all the time because a peanut kills you. Like that's I'll never.
You're gonna pay
eat.
a price for this. Is
Exactly.
The bottom line.
Like it balances out. I'll never get to eat.
It's their
Reese's.
scale of justice in their own head. You can't get away with this without something.
They have
you must
to
pay for this. So some other women I've spoken to that again are like this will literally say to me that they'll have an orgasm by sitting on a cold floor.
What?
Yeah, so that's a higher degree of sensitivity than what you're talking about.
Yeah, I can't do that.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I guess I've never.
So,
who's just sitting fucking bare?
Whatever.
Pussy on a cold floor?
know. I don't have one, so I don't know. But somebody famous said
weird
that to me.
hobby.
Somebody,
really?
Yeah. And I was like, okay, that's the real deal. That where it can go with almost anything.
Yeah, damn.
But listen, there's some questions here that are along that same line. Here, look, this one. Ever since I can remember, I've been able to orgasm from doing abdominal exercises.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
You can't do that, right?
I think when I have, like, if I've been working on my abs and my abs are stronger, I feel like my orgasms are more intense.
Okay. Also, the orgasms I have from exercising feel equally good, but different than orgasms from sex. I'm wondering why this is. Because it's different. Let's be fair. When I was a gymnast from the time I was really young and was having them as early as 5 or 6 years old.
Whoa.
It wasn't until I had sex later on that I realized it was orgasms the whole time. Interesting.
Jesus.
That's very highly orgasmic person, right?
Yeah.
Not a male.
See, I'm not like some freaking. This is something more intense.
But what we're exploring is okay. What was the other woman's name you just mentioned with Taylor?
Delaney.
Did I talk to Delaney?
No, you talked to Taylor.
No,
Taylor.
Yeah, Taylor.
Yeah. And so Delaney's sort of more on the average spectrum. That's sort of more routine the way women often are. And this stuff is sort of the small group that never gets to talk because the other women yell them down. So we're going to.
I am.
Here it is.
Yeah.
So here's another one.
Okay.
I have multiple orgasms, and I do like oral sex. I have orgasms with no stimulation or nipple stimulation. I have so many it's impossible to count. So this is that version.
Okay.
When I masturbate, it's usually one big one. I don't enjoy casual sex until I feel safe with long-term relationships. I have scared men away with how much stronger my sex drive is than theirs. It's not all an upside. Convince me otherwise.
Interesting.
Well, men get scared by female sexuality all the time. Men have a fear of that.
See, that's so backward to me because I feel like all dudes talk about is like they want a chick who's like super wet all the time, is super.
They do, as long as it doesn't pass them.
Okay.
Or doesn't tire them out or make them feel like they have to keep up.
Oh, that stamina.
Right? It's
yeah.
more about readiness than coming after you, right?
Yeah.
And I see, and I know men they get so weird about female sexuality. It's like it's like what's going to happen? Like is this going to run away from me? And they fear where it could go.
I feel like that's such a misconception too, that women want you to last for 2 hours. Like usually we don't. Like we want to come.
It's the usually we don't that drives men crazy because sometimes you do. And how do we know which time it is?
Yeah, that's a good point. But I don't know.
Usually
I think the idea of what guys think, whatever that time frame is a lot longer than what women.
Except when you do want that.
Yeah, sure. I guess so.
Pretty
All
crazy.
right, sorry. Yeah, you're right.
It's pretty
You're
crazy.
Right. Yeah.
And if we ask you about it, you somehow get violated. Like
yeah.
It's weird, right?
Yeah, it's tough.
See how cards are stacked against us a little bit?
That is tough, yeah.
But what is the duration that is more optimal?
Well, I think for me, since I can come more easily and more quickly, like 15 minutes, 10 to 20.
That's a long time.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe not that long. I don't know. It's such a weird time warp when you're having sex. Maybe
Yes.
15 minutes does sound super long now that I'm saying
it's
that.
not super long. It's not super long, but it's longer than you think.
Yeah,
It's
maybe
like,
10.
Have you done 2 minutes in the ring ever?
That's a good point. That's a good point. Maybe 10, yeah.
All right, this is one I'm very interested in because it's titled "Kelsey Cook Made Me Question My Orgasms," and this is War and Peace.
Oh Jesus!
When I watched Kelsey's episode, I thought, I'm like her because I have no refractory period. There we go.
Okay.
I can climax immediately after I just have had one.
Yeah.
That's really what we're talking about here.
Yeah.
There's no refractoriness.
Yeah.
But it's not instantaneous.
Yeah.
There's still a little build up.
Yeah.
Just no refractory.
Yeah.
All right. Then I listened to Kate Kennedy's episode. I was relieved thinking I'm like her because she mentioned she will lie in bed all day masturbating, can come many times in one day. But she has lots of refractoriness. She would wait in between, just spend the whole day doing it.
Oh, okay.
If I had to guess, I would say I've reached over 100 orgasms a day, this young lady. I wake up in the morning in 15 minutes. I can have 15 orgasms or more. When I'm depressed and struggle to get out of bed, it's really out of hand. But other times when I'm feeling more manic, so this could be actually mania. And just this long note maybe about the mania.
Got you. Okay.
I must have been below what she's going on about stuff. I'm currently in my 20s, and I feel as though I've been past those issues. Thank you. I do get extremely aroused by the idea of being walked in on or watched while masturbating. I know this is a lot. I should see a therapist, but I can't afford it. Should I try to masturbate less? Am I addicted? Am I just a result of trauma? And will I be hypersexual forever? People do get hypersexual after they have been traumatized. They can have, or they can be suppressed, or they can go back and forth. They can go between sexual anorexia and hypersexual. Sounds like she's sort of spun up.
Yeah.
And she can't stop masturbating, and that is kind of an addiction. It again, if you can't control if you can control it, go ahead and do so. If you can't, then you need to get some help with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she masturbates in her car, blah, blah, blah. My mental health varies significantly, but regardless of which end of the spectrum I'm on, I'm always coming.
Oh my gosh.
That's a little bit much for me. Too much. Too long.
Too much for the man who likes watching a guy swim in the sewer? What? How is that possible?
It's too much. It's too much information to be able to meaningfully address here in this environment.
I see. Okay.
Not that I couldn't do it. It's just this isn't the place for it.
Okay.
Got any voice messages for me?
I sure do.
Okay.
Hey, Dr. Drew. It's Kat. I have a question about I don't know if I have an issue with dependency or I have an issue with just not being able to be intimate with people, but I cannot go on dates without drinking, and I don't want to say heavily, but enough to where I'm super loose, and I don't mean loose sexually, I mean just loose enough to even feel comfortable going on a date.
Okay.
I have no issues talking to people under any other circumstance at work or in a professional setting or even my friends. I have no issue being social.
Interesting.
But when it comes to like this dating expectations, I feel so awful. And to the point where I feel like I have to drink. And I tried doing Sober October and didn't drink and went on a few dates with this guy, and I literally went into the bathroom and started crying at the thought of him maybe trying to kiss me. So I don't know if it's
was she traumatized?
Like a weird intimacy issue. Maybe I struggle with that because I think I do have a history of that in the past, or if it's maybe I like to drink too much. I have no idea.
I don't think it's the
I do
alcohol.
drink on a regular basis, maybe like 5 nights a week.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what is what.
It's hard to tell, but it really sounds like a very specific social phobia of some type.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder about trauma, like something happened to her.
Yeah.
And if indeed that is the case, something did happen to her, then that's got to be treated. But if she hasn't been traumatized and this is just some sort of isolated phobia, medication can really work with this, number one.
Really?
But exposure therapy is what you use with phobias, right?
Yeah.
You're smiling?
Yeah, I just think this is interesting.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But the only way you can do exposure is by doing this, right?
Yeah.
And so somebody's got to kind of coach her up or be supportive to her so she feels safe enough doing it. And I don't know what she's feeling when she's with these guys, but any advice?
I mean, I'm just picturing like a therapist sitting third wheel at these dates with her, like getting shit faced. I feel like that's
a TV show.
Yeah, that's hard to picture guided exposure therapy in these like very intimate situations.
Have you ever seen exposure therapy? You've ever had it?
No, I've heard about it, but I have not seen it or had it.
It really works, and you're right. There's supposed to be another person there doing it, but I've always felt that certain kinds of social phobias, they're very isolated like this. If you develop a skill, an experience, it kind of slows the phobia reduces a little bit.
Yeah.
So if she could just get out there, I always tell people that are anxious about dating, just get out there and just start having meals with people. Just start hanging and learning about yourself with new people, and just get into the habit of, don't let it be romantic. Don't even worry about where it's going. Just get in the habit of just spending time with new people. And you know, for some people, it gives you an opportunity to sort of see yourself through a new pair of glasses too, because you're sometimes relating to people you wouldn't normally hang out with as you try to just learn to hang with people.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm. Any other advice? Dating advice?
Fuck. I mean, I'm terrible. I met my husband when I was like 22 and all that
Got
shit.
Married,
yeah, exactly. So I have no, I don't really have great dating advice. I missed all the dating apps and all that stuff. So I don't know. I'm terrible at
that.
there.
But the apps and things wouldn't help her. She just needs experience doing it. But I mean, and again, medication can really help. Maybe get her to the point where she can tolerate it a little better rather than drinking. So
yeah, maybe she just needs to go out with a few guys that she has zero sexual attraction to. Like really, like knows right out the gate she does not want to fuck at the end of it, just to get those reps in.
Good, I dig it. That's exactly right. It's exactly what I'm talking about. All right, next message.
Do some dumpster diving.
Hey, Dr. Drew, this is Matt. I just have a strange question about the male refractory period, which I have oddly skipped a couple of times, where if I just keep going after having sex, I can orgasm and ejaculate again, just 2 times, not more than that, like some of those lucky women. But the weirder thing that I wanted to ask you about that's happened, I think, twice in my current relationship is that I have ejaculated without experiencing the feeling of orgasm. And I've had to buy Plan B twice in the last 3 years because of it. It only happens if I have basically pulled myself back from orgasm a number of times, kind of like edged while having sex.
Yeah.
And then, I ejaculate, and I don't even feel it. Like, it doesn't feel like it at all. So just wanted to know about that thing.
That can happen. That happens.
Like a phantom cum?
It's yeah. I mean, it's not phantom, because phantom cum really is retrograde ejaculation, where it goes up inside and you don't ejaculate any fluid.
Sounds painful.
No, it doesn't really hurt.
Oh, okay.
But this business of having an ejaculate without the feeling of orgasm is kind of a weird disconnect. But when you're messing around the way he was, I can see how that can happen. But the ability to have an orgasm, one right after the other, that will go away in a few years. Don't you worry, young man. But
let me tell you, young child.
But he is having refractoriness. He's just been able to sustain his erection. You see, he's able to keep going, but he's actually still refractory.
Oh, okay.
So. What did one of my old Loveline guest co-hosts say about this? Like, same boner, different jizz. So,
where's the coffee mug for that? Can I get one, please?
No t-shirts. No t-shirts. I'll kill you guys who come up with that.
Oh my god.
Do we have any videos today?
Oh yeah, we have one that is actually right up of Kelsey's alley.
Kelsey, here we go.
What the fuck?
Is it a foosball?
No. So a little setup on this. So this used to be a cool guy on your mom's house, like from back in the day. You know, one thing that happened to this person was that he threw his back out, and then from that moment on, something very peculiar started happening.
Let's see.
Oh, God.
Father of 2, Dale Decker, suffers from a rare and seemingly incurable condition that leads to him suffering up to 100 unwanted orgasms a day.
There's nothing pleasurable about it, because even though it might physically feel good, the whole time inside your mind, you're completely disgusted by what's going on. And depending on where you're at, if you're in public, if you're in front of kids, if you're around strangers,
a funeral,
it can make a person break real fast.
You're cruel, Kelsey. Come on now.
I know that this is sad for him, but it's also kind of funny.
When you're on your knees at your father's funeral.
He did it at the funeral.
He did say funeral.
And you're saying goodbye to him. and then you have 9 orgasms right there while your whole family is standing behind you. It just makes you never want to have another orgasm as long as you live. But you know what? You just keep on coming.
Shut up. This is not real.
It's real.
I promise you it's real. We had
He
this
did
person.
not just say you just keep on coming with a straight face and a tear in his eye. Come on. This is not real.
Dale, from Wisconsin in America, was enjoying his suburban life in 2012 when he slipped a disc in his back while getting out of a chair, triggering the condition for unknown reasons.
They put me in the back of the ambulance to take me to the hospital, and on the way there I had my first 5 orgasms, and they've never stopped.
Ooh.
Oh, no.
Oh, God. Oh. They happen at all times in any situation. They happen when I'm awake. They happen when I'm asleep. They happen in the shower.
So they used to treat difficulty with orgasm, particularly organically caused, by slipping a little device into that region of the spine and stimulating it, and people could literally push a button and have an orgasm.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How much does that cost?
I did a show for Discovery Health where we actually went down to South Carolina, saw the surgeon that was putting these things in, and talked to some of the patients and stuff, and they were very happy with it. They dug it.
So do you think this could be reversed medically?
Possibly.
It's funny you say that, because this person. Wait, are you talking about the button?
No, this guy.
So this guy. So we were so interested with this person. There was an article that came out that this person decided to now transition into being a woman, and in taking the hormones, he went from going to 100 orgasms a day to 8.
So the estrogen made him have less orgasms.
That seems so backwards.
No, estrogen, yeah, it does in the sense that women have less refractoriness.
Right.
But it makes sense to me from the fact that he's a testosterone system.
Okay.
And you're suppressing that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Interesting. And you guys talked to him?
Yeah. He called into your mom's house. I believe it was the episode that we did with Finesse Mitchell. I think we had a Skype call with him beforehand.
Dude.
I need to talk to him too.
So much laundry. Like that guy needs to be sponsored by Tide. Like help him out.
Well, I don't think there's fluid every time. I don't think there's fluid.
Really?
Because the fluid has to be produced. It takes a while. Your prostate has to generate all that,
Yeah.
store it in the seminal vesicles. No, I think it's going to be a lot of ghost orgasms.
He seems so sad. I feel like you'd be so happy if you were just like always having that.
There's something called
sensation.
persistent female sexual arousal, I think it's called.
Yeah.
That's what this is. Persistent erotic arousal syndrome.
Yeah,
something
but women get it more commonly.
Okay.
And women can get it for several days after. It's the multi-orgasmic women sometimes have these periods where something irritates or stimulates, or they use latex or something.
Yeah.
And so,
or you put a manicure tool in your vagina. Yeah.
Have you ever had anything like that where things sort of tapered on after your...
like after I come, then...
Like it kind of they will describe it like earthquakes going on for a while afterwards.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess I kind of feel like that's what happens if I masturbate or I'm having sex, that like that's how the orgasms are, that I can just keep tapping into it. Mm-hmm. But do you mean after I have a session and it's just days?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I'll have to pay attention to that.
That doesn't happen to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Listen, that's again, women are all very, very different one from the other, right?
Yeah.
And so this is why I want to dig into this stuff. And
right.
Your friend needs the moon lined up and needs careful
Well,
blueprints laid out.
Yeah, and she needs toys that are super, super powerful. Whereas, you're talking about that for me, oral isn't like the best thing for me. I also don't really like the intense toys. So my husband and I just bought our first sex toys together maybe 6 months ago, which is so weird that like all these years we were just like Flintstone and that shit, like just never using anything. But I got one of the like vibrating wand things, and it's too intense. Yeah. I feel like on the lowest setting, this thing is like for blasting rocks. I'm like, who's using this on their like, I was like, did I just puree my clit? Like it felt like this is for industrial kitchens. It does not feel like it's supposed to be
and
for
it also makes me
crotch.
worry that your friend may have desensitized herself with the vibrators.
Yes. That's another reason why I did not buy sex toys for so long, is because that wasn't a problem for me. It's like I was able to make myself come all the time, and I knew friends that were using vibrators all the time, and that's what they needed from
they had to
that
have
point out.
Desensitize them. Not uncommon. And
can you ever get desensitized and then come back from that?
Yeah, you can. You have to take a few months off, but sometimes not.
See that? It's like you get one clit, one life, man. Like that would make me devastated to fuck that up, So I try. It's just too much for me.
Yeah. Good sense. You got good sense.
I don't know how Delaney is using it all the time and hasn't just like sanded her vagina down to like a smooth slab of granite, like a Barbie crotch.
Yeah,
Barbie.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
We're resilient. Let's take a quick break so I can tell you about our first sponsor, Calm. They say it takes 2 months to form a habit, and if you're making a resolution this year, that can feel like a long time to wait to see results. With Calm, it takes 5 minutes a day to feel better, calmer, and ready to face whatever this year throws at you. It is a great app. They think of everything. Music, soothing sounds. It's amazing. It's the #1 app for sleep, relaxation, meditation. Calm has sleep stories, which are like bedtime stories for adults. They can help you fall asleep with natural sleep. And the stories are narrated by people like LeVar Burton and Nick Offerman. They also have soothing music from artists like Sam Smith and breathing, guided exercises, so much more to keep you de-stressed and relaxed. And if you go to calm.com/Dr. Drew, you'll get a limited time offer of 40% off a Calm premium subscription, which includes hundreds of hours of programming. It really is a cool app. Over 60 million people use Calm. Join them today to accomplish your goals of tomorrow. For listeners of our show, Calm is offering a special limited time promotion, 40% off a Calm premium subscription at calm.com/DRDREW. That's calm.com/Dr. Drew. Again, it is 40% off unlimited access to Calm's entire library, and new content is added every week. Get started today at Calm, C-A-L-M, calm.com/Dr. Drew. Again, calm.com/DRDREW. Now I want to tell you about our next sponsor, Upstart. Between hitting the gym, eating better, learning a new skill, a lot of ways to make ourselves better in the new year. But I can't think of one more important than starting off the year tackling high interest rate credit card debt. Our friends at Upstart.com are here to help. Upstart is the revolutionary lending platform that offers smarter rates to help you pay off high interest rate credit card debt. Upstart goes beyond the traditional credit score when assessing your credit worthiness. They actually reward you based on your education and job history in the form of a smarter rate. Upstarts believe you are more than just your credit score. They believe in you. They make it fast, simple, and easy to check your rate, and since it's a soft pull, they won't affect your credit score. The hard pull happens if you accept your rate. The best part, once the loan is approved and accepted, most people get their funds the very next business day. It's the next day. Over 400,000 people have used Upstart to pay off credit cards or meet their financial goals. Free yourself from the burden of high-interest credit card debt by consolidating everything into one monthly payment with Upstart. See why Upstart is ranked #1 in their category with over 300 businesses on Trustpilot, and hurry to upstart.com/Dr. Drew to find out how low your Upstart rate is. Checking your rate only takes a few minutes. That's upstart.com/DRDREW. Next up, I want to tell you about our friends at Embark. And listen, whether you have a new dog, a new puppy, an old friend, Embark Breed and Health Test is the key to unlocking your dog's unique breed mix and genetically informed healthcare needs, so you can help your dog live its healthiest, happiest life. We had our dog tested. Turns out to be a purebred Australian Shepherd. We just checked that out. And we were concerned. Those purebreds get all kinds of genetic problems. He has none, no risks at least, so he's doing pretty well. If you want to know what your dog's risk is for genetic health conditions, they screen over 170 genetic conditions, and they help your vet provide the best medical care for your dog. Our vet was grateful for us getting the Embark dog test. It's a DNA kit that's the most comprehensive kit on the market. Over 250 breeds, 170 genetic health conditions help you take the best possible care of your dog. Of over 50% of dogs are either at risk or a carrier of genetic disease. This panel at Embark tests for over 170 genetic diseases that can be present in many breeds, whether mixed breed or purebred. Embark is the only company with stellar customer service and vets and veterinary geneticists on staff to talk you through your results. Very important part. And right now, Embark has an exclusive offer you cannot get anywhere else. Go to EmbarkVet, that's EMBARKVET, EmbarkVet.com now. Use the promo code DREW. It's Drew, not Dr. Drew, so it's DREW, and you can save 15% off your dog DNA test kit. Visit EmbarkVet.com. Use promo code DREW to save You'll love your dog will love you for it, and you'll love that you did it. Let's get back to the show. Next video.
Okay, so this next video is from a cool guy that likes to lean really heavy on traditionalism. So tell me, is there something wrong with this guy, Drew, or is he just traditional? And also, Kelsey, is this something that you'd be into?
Okay. I have a feeling like it's going to be a hard no, but okay.
Let's cut to the chase here.
Oh,
Women
yikes.
should clean up. Not only should women clean up unprompted. And I'm going to tell you why.
What in the where do you guys find these videos?
People send them in.
Oh.
It's very, very simple. We live in a world where things need to be fair, 50-50, gender equality, blah, blah. I pay for things unprompted. You don't have to ask me to pay for shit. If we go for dinner, I'll get my wallet out, pay at the end. Don't even check the price of the bill. My card always works.
Oh.
So far, pretty normal dude, right?
He's a cool, normal dude.
Fucking yuck. This guy is the worst. I want to snap like a used condom into his open mouth right there, like that. Look at that perfect open shot. I hate him.
Unprompted, if you're with me, your life is effectively free. Everywhere you eat, everywhere you go, where you sleep, you ain't paying for shit. You ain't getting in my car and I'm asking you for motherfucking gas money. No, I pay for everything, instantly, as a man should. So when you walk into a house and you see mess, why is your lazy ass not doing the right thing and start picking and cleaning shit up? If you're sitting there going, that's sexist. Well, it's sexist for me to fucking pay for everything, isn't it, you fucking bimbo?
He must be doing a tape for a reality show of some type.
My God.
No. This is coming from his
Bachelorette?
YouTube channel. And let me tell you, Drew, there's a lot of these kinds of videos.
What?
Yeah.
What's his subscriber count like?
I don't remember, but I do know he has a background in Thai. Like, I think he's like a Muay Thai champion.
Yeah, that.
I don't know if
Does
that
someone
overwhelming
checks
testosterone is flooding his system, but.
Do some women respond to this?
I don't know. Yeah, are there comments about this?
Well, I mean, don't worry, because he could overcome all your objections.
That's a good point.
Now, when I say this, girls go, well, I don't like cleaning. No problem. If you don't like cleaning, how about this? I'll clean. And when I say I'll clean, I mean I'll hire someone else to clean. Anyway, I'll get the house clean. And you pay for everything. How about that? Oh, no, you can't do that either, can you? Because you're a fucking moron. And you realize that making money is much harder than getting some fucking dishes washed.
So women are unable to make a living, is his conclusion.
Then you're going to realize what real work is. Because to pay for shit is much more difficult than keeping a house generally tidy and being a generally pleasant female to be around.
What must happen to this asshole when he goes into a professional setting and his doctor is a woman or his attorney is a woman? How does he respond to that?
How does this how does this thing become this thing?
I wonder if there's a cultural thing, if he grew up somewhere where there was totally different than we're accustomed to.
It's interesting you say that. In one of his videos, it looks like he has an accent when he says some words.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah. I think he might be UK or maybe Australian. I think he grew up over there.
But yeah, somewhere where there was a UK I don't know, but it was not...
Does he have a girlfriend?
Nope, I think he's single. If if anyone out there is looking at
Kelsey's looking, Kelsey's in.
Well, you guys know my open situation. I'm getting on a plane.
All right, so what do we tell the women that take issue with like when you said the other day you had 10 orgasms? It was immediate like she's lying,
But like, why would I lie about? I don't know.
It's such a random thing to say, right?
Yeah.
Why would you?
I don't know. I don't think that there's any, I think it's a great thing. I'm very grateful that I'm able to do that, but that's just like one tiny facet of life. Again, the food allergies, I can't eat a Reese's peanut butter cup. You know the joy that brings people every day? I don't get that. So let me have my fucking orgasms, what's the problem, man?
Do you now we were talking about women that are more sensitive. Do you question that? Does that seem like an untruth to you?
No.
So it seems like it could be that too. Why not?
I would never accuse somebody of lying about that because everybody's bodies are so different.
Well, women, men pretty much.
Dude, it's just straight across the board.
They're pretty much all the same. Pretty much,
except for the guy who's coming. Yeah,
and assholes like this too. They're different
point.
attitudes, but they operate kind of the same.
Good point.
Women are all over the place. What I find bizarre is that women don't sort of share that or seem to know that about each other.
Well, so I'm a comic for a living. I feel like I'm pretty open, and I am around people who are also very open. So to me, that's not uncommon to be talking about if I'm able to orgasm a lot versus if a friend is able to. But maybe women day to day don't.
Or when they were younger, they would not share. Or it seemed like some people that were in any way different would just shut up.
Yeah. Well, I certainly doing the manicure tool thing. I didn't talk about that with anybody for years.
Until you got up on stage.
Yeah. And even then, I mean, it took years after starting stand-up because it's like, especially when you're that age, that area of your body is so like, it's not talked about and it's this whole big, it's kind of like a secret and it's supposed to be perfect and you shouldn't do anything to mess it up or do anything taboo. And so the fact that the first time I tried doing something with it, I broke it. Like I broke my vagina. That's so horrifying, especially in the word, like it swelled shut. Like, nobody wants to hear about that. It's just, it was the worst. And I was very ashamed, but it was interesting once I started talking about it on stage or people saw that This Is Not Happening clip, I would get women who'd come up to me after shows and be like, oh my God, thank you for talking about that. I put a carrot in there when I was like 18 and I felt so bad and my mom caught me, people, I've heard the weird remote controls, women just put whatever up there because we just, when you're young, you want to figure it out. So I'm happy that me opening up can make other women feel less embarrassed about whatever.
Well, tell me more about this feeling about it being secretive and all that.
Yeah.
Men don't have that feeling about anything.
No, but I think that's such a different thing growing up like in locker rooms. So in locker rooms, you guys just learn right away that you're going to get in the showers and walk around with your dicks out. And you guys are going to like smack each other in the ass and, teabag each other and all the weird.
Don't get carried away. What
was
your husband into? Jesus Christ.
Like I've seen Jackass, all the Jackass type of stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys do that from a pretty young age. Whereas girls don't do any of that. We're not like, hovering over a girl's eye with our butthole at a slumber party.
You're not sitting on his face and farting.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's just more, it's more secretive and you don't really talk about it and all that. You just want it to be perfect. So the fact that I messed mine up in such a horrendous way the first time I tried doing anything was very emotionally scarring.
And then when they start talking about functioning, they seem to, if you're not sort of in an average zone, they kind of marginalize you.
Yeah. So, and again, I didn't realize.
Which is weird.
I wasn't talking about how often I could come with my friends for, I don't know, a long time. When I realized I could come a lot, I just thought that's what you did.
You thought you were like everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was weird.
Yeah. And when did you learn that was different?
I don't know if I remember a specific time, but I think just starting to talk with my friends more openly about like if they had vibrators and stuff like that. And I was just like, I don't use vibrators. I can just make myself come. And they're like, what do you mean? Like you don't have toys? And I never had toys. So I think that's when I knew, okay, maybe not everybody comes this easily.
And do they shame or embarrass or anything? Or
no, I mean, they give me shit the way that friends give you shit. But again, like you said, where they have to look for the whole food allergy or allergies excuses like, well, she can't do all this other fun stuff that we can, so I guess that's how we'll deal with it.
It's not a big percentage of women that maybe 5%. I bet that is.
You think 5%?
That too little or too big?
That seems too little, but I don't know.
Maybe it's 10%, maybe. But it's not that big a number, which is why the rest of them start to question it when they come upon somebody.
It's always wild to me the other way when I hear about somebody like Delaney not being able. Like having such a hard time.
Oh, that was the other thing. I noticed one time I was at a lecture and this girl was like you and it was another girl was talking about difficulty coming and she said, you're lying. It's impossible. You just haven't figured it out. And I said, oh, you're multi-orgasmic, right?
Exactly.
Yes, because it happens so easily for her.
Have you talked to Remy Casimir
No,
yet?
who's that?
So she's a comedian. She has a podcast called How Come? Because up until like a year ago, she had never been able to have an orgasm
How old
before.
Is she?
My age, like 29, 30, something like that. And it took using one of those toys that basically simulates oral sex where it's like almost like a sucking motion or whatever. That was the first time she's able to come. So which blows my mind. And I think she's like a very sexual person, but it just wasn't happening for her. And so we had her on the podcast and that was interesting to have both of us on these polar opposite ends where it's like, my body's so sensitive, like it barely takes anything, and hers, she was using everything and it wouldn't happen.
And what was your perception of what she was doing wrong?
But I don't think she's doing anything wrong. That's the thing. I'm not one of those women that's like, well, you haven't fucking cracked the code, bitch. Like that's your body. Why would I know if you're doing something wrong? I just think that we all are, made up differently, different sensitivities. So it was just shocking to me that these things that would make me come really easily did nothing for her. So yeah.
Interesting. And you notice how also you're more towards penetration and she needs really just strictly direct stimulation
on the clit. But I don't think I'm more towards, I think I'm.
No, you said with intercourse you could do it too, right?
Yeah, but I don't need intercourse to do it.
No, I understand. But she will not do it with intercourse ever. Ever.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's sort of how the spectrum goes.
That's another thing I thought was interesting too, is that some friends have never had a G-spot orgasm or never had.
Most women don't.
Yeah, so.
That's weird to you, right?
Yeah.
You see, you're like, what? and that's the part that's so funny is that it literally seems like, how could that be?
Right. Yeah, I have no judgment toward it. It's just interesting because that is like my reality, I guess, is that I can do that, which again,
right,
is very nice,
and that's unusual. That's unusual. And there are some people that can do that are not multi-orgasmic, and some people. But if you are multi-orgasmic, you can do that.
Yeah.
That's just sort of how that works. And
I feel like this comment section of this video is just going to be so much just like dudes like coming all over keyboards. God, I really hope my parents don't listen to this.
I'm sorry, you're shaming me. I'm feeling bad. Your marriage right now is open, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And how did you guys get to that?
So we met really young. I met him when I was 22 and he was 24, 25. And for the first year-ish, it was not open. And then we had started to talk more about getting married. And he was definitely like the most serious relationship I'd had at that time in my life. And so we were living together at that point. We were talking about getting married. And I just realized like, wow, I met him so much younger than I was planning on meeting that person. And I had not really had very many sexual experiences. I'd been very like, serial monogamist where I'd had maybe 2 or 3 serious relationships before that, but just not a lot of hooking up for me. And I got pretty freaked out realizing that like that could be the last sexual experiences of my life. And fortunately, like I have, my husband and I have great sex. Obviously I'm coming on here talking about like how much I come all the time. Like that's not a problem, but I do, it freaked me out a little bit to think about never having other.
So I'm always curious at who initiates these kinds of.
So I brought it up initially, and he wasn't comfortable with it at first.
Yeah, because it's usually one person wants to do it, the other person kind of settles for it.
Yeah. So he wasn't into it at first. He was really understanding about it. Was like, I get that you didn't plan on this being so serious and us meeting each other so young. If you feel like you need to do that, I would understand, but I just like we would have to end. I don't think I could handle us being together and you doing that. So I kind of let it go for a little bit, and I'd bring it up again here and there. And then I think maybe.
How would you bring that up? Let's play foosball.
Oh my God. If I beat you, I get to fuck somebody. No. So rigged. Oh my God. I love when they laugh in the booth. I don't know. It just would be like maybe if we were watching a movie and there would be like a hot actress or something like that. I'd be like, would you want to fuck her if you could fuck her? Just like talking hypothetically or something like that. Or if we could get drunk and, how girls find ways to bring things up like we do. And then it got to a point maybe a couple years in where we decided that we were okay at the thought of having like makeouts with other people. Like if I'm on the road or he's on the road and you wanted to like have a drunken makeout on the dance floor of a bar, whatever, that you could do that and it'd be fine. But it's like neither of us wanted to know about it. So it wasn't one of those open things where it's like, hey, I'm about to go meet up with this person. Just so you know, if I don't answer my phone, that's why. It was just like, don't want to know. And then in the last year, it kind of got brought up again.
By?
I think it was just us talking about like people we thought were hot. And he said, it was like some hot girl I follow on Instagram. And his big celebrity crush is Selma Hayek, and she kind of looked like Selma. And I was like, "Ooh, you should follow her. I think you'd think she's hot." And he was like, "So if she just somehow was at my comedy show, like, and wanted to fuck me, would you be okay if I fucked her?" And I was like, "Yeah, like that'd be so sad if you didn't. If this girl who looks exactly like your celebrity, I mean, because what are the chances that he's gonna meet Selma Hayek? Probably pretty slim. But if her doppelganger wanted to fuck him, I mean, I would be sad for him if he missed out on that." So I was like, yeah, you should. And then that kind of turned into, okay, well, then what's the difference between any of these other situations if we wanted to be able to fuck somebody? So then that's when we decided to make it totally open. That was about a year ago.
Statistically, doesn't the stats aren't good.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm aware.
But also,
monogamous stats are also not great either.
But they're way worse with the open.
You think?
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
But your relationship was threatened by how you were feeling anyway, right?
Right.
And so I kind of get what you were trying to do here.
Yeah, and I think
you might have, maybe if you can close it up when everyone's feeling more like adult, you know what I mean? Like
I don't know that it's something I want for the rest of my life.
Yeah,
and I know,
you know what I mean? Like don't leave it open.
Don't leave the door open.
Yeah, just because statistics aren't going, they're not with you. You know?
I see. I remember when we brought it up last time I was on here, you were talking about that when you have kids, that's like a really hard. And I agree. I think that would be hard to navigate with kids. I don't know that I want kids, and if I do, it would not be for a long time. But yeah, I still feel really young, and I have a job that makes me. I meet a lot of people all the time. I'm out traveling a lot of the time, and I think it's just a different environment than maybe a couple who lives like in the middle of Nebraska.
Of course.
And the only other thing they see is like a sheep or whatever. Like that's not the same. Maybe go into that. I don't know.
Why did you guys get married so young? I mean, why do that?
So we actually only got married 6 months ago.
Oh.
But we had a weird thing. We got engaged after like 8 months of being together, just like two impulsive, dumb comedians. We started planning a wedding for maybe 6 months, and we were just fighting that whole time. Like the whole time we were arguing, it was very apparent that we were not ready to do that. So we just had, fortunately, like a very honest conversation with each other where we both felt the same way as far as like, I still love you, I still want to be with you, but like we're not ready for this step. So we called off the engagement. Nothing else changed. Like we still lived together, we were still together, but we just told our friends and family, hey, not plan on a wedding anymore. And then another like 6 years went by. And then we were like, okay, now I really know you. And now we've been through a lot of shit, and now we feel more comfortable taking that next step.
Well, and to be fair, an open relationship before you're married is just called dating. Yeah, you know what I mean? Even though you're committed, you know what I mean?
But I think also, okay, so
did it change? Did you feel different after you actually went through the marital process?
I guess. I mean, to be calling each other husband and wife, it feels more serious and like it feels like a bigger commitment. But I think some people have an open relationship and they're very active in it. For us, it was just more like if you happen to be in a situation and you want to take advantage of it, you can do it and not feel like you're doing something wrong. That door didn't open for me and become like me just sitting on a bunch of dudes' faces left and right. It's not like, no, I know, it's so weird. It has not been like a dick buffet. It's just the fact that there's that. I think I need that reverse psychology a little bit. I don't think I could be with a guy that was like, oh, I'll never let you do anything. I'll never let you be with anybody else because it's like I'm a child. As soon as you tell me like, don't you put that dick in your mouth, I'm like, I'm gonna do it. Like I just like, I can't be told like that. But if you tell me it's okay, then I know it's okay and I'm not as tempted.
Right. I get it. Hey, are your parents still together?
No.
How long were they, or how long were they married?
They were married for almost 10 years.
And so they broke up when you were younger?
I was 5. Yeah. And my dad met another woman. So here's the thing. My dad met another woman and left my mom for her.
That's why they broke up.
And they've been together for 25 years now. But I think people get weird about open relationships because they're like, well, you're inviting other opportunities into your life or other people, other temptation. But you see it happen with people in monogamous relationships all the time too. Like you can be in a monogamous relationship and meet somebody in line at the bank. Like, I don't know. What
they're talking about is that, I think we talked about this last time, is that it's hard to predict the kinds of feelings that are going to be evoked when this kind of intimacy is
sure. Yeah.
cultivated.
Yeah.
You just don't know. You think it's going to be no big deal, you know, and then all of a sudden like, whoa, you're playing with fire a little bit.
That's true. How do you feel about monogamy from like a biological level? Do you feel like it's a choice we're making, or do you feel like it's natural? How do you feel about it?
It's, throughout human history, it's been around. It's not like it's a cultural thing. It's in every culture at all times. Mm-hmm. And people seem to desire it and strive for it and don't get it right a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And the thing that has really changed it is how long we're living.
Yeah.
That has made things a lot different.
For sure.
Yeah. I feel very grateful that I have, I've been married for almost 30 years.
That's incredible.
It's incredible. But what I have noticed is if I'm into it today,
Yeah.
That's all that really counts.
Yeah.
Because pretty soon, a bunch of days really, you know, as long as things are good today, you don't worry about how long or short or anything. It's how alcoholics stay sober many, many years. It's weird. It's funny, but I was thinking that the other day is that it is just one day at a time. And if today you're into it, you're probably going to be into it tomorrow too. And
that's a good way to look at it. I saw, have you heard of Explained on Netflix?
Yes.
Okay, so they did one on either marriage or monogamy, but a guy came on and said, you know, people can choose monogamy the way that they choose to be vegetarian, but that's not going to make bacon stop smelling good. And I love that quote because I think it's so true. It's like, I think choosing to be monogamous is a more simplistic way of living day to day, but that is hard. Like, it doesn't make you not attracted to other people.
Oh, of course not. Of course that's the case. But you know, there's these theories about love and relationships that, you know, commitment is a very important sort of and if you stay with that commitment, you know, I commit to not eating bacon, and I get a lot of other benefits for not eating bacon.
True. Right? So. There's that triangular love theory.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
So it's intimacy, passion,
commitment.
Yeah. And that's a very sort of simplistic version, but it's interesting that a lot of people leave the commitment. They just don't know how to do that part.
Or it like kind of waxes and wanes. I think, you know, you're talking about the life expectancy now being so long compared to what it used to be.
Yeah, and by the way, I could imagine the panic if I got married at 22.
Yeah, or you met that person, moved in. It's so much.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Well, and it's...
In fact, I had met my wife when I was at 24. Oh, wow. And broke up because I was not ready.
Yeah.
I was not ready.
That's how I felt too, but that's calling the engagement off initially. I was just like, this is just way bigger of a commitment than I'm ready for. But it's interesting to me that growing up, you're encouraged to date a lot. You're encouraged to meet lots of people to try and figure out kind of like what the criteria is you're looking for.
What works?
Yeah. But in that process, you are meeting a bunch of people and experiencing a bunch of different people. And then you're supposed to hit this like marker where for the last 3/4 of your life, all of a sudden there's no more options. It's just like you're supposed to do that forever. And that to me just seems like, I feel like we don't do that with anything else. Like,
we talked about this last time. It's about family building. If you're going to build a family. Yeah, because you really are. And then there's going to be, then they're going to have kids and you want to be stable for that. And there's a whole thing you're building there too. And a life too. People don't talk about this. You're building a life together. And you don't want that to be challenged. You don't want that to fall apart in any way.
So. It's tough. I feel like it's easier said than done, you know?
And I'm not saying everybody has to build families and everybody has to build these elaborate lives. And maybe some people we're going to start doing it in our 40s or 50s you know, soon enough.
Comics, I think especially, we're on such a different track. All my best friends have already been married and having kids and all this stuff that is pretty typical for around the age of 30. But for me, turning 30 is just like, oh, I'm just super excited to tour even more. And you just live a lifestyle that is not the typical one, I think.
Well, I think I asked you this last time. What was the hook for comedy for you?
Oh, man. I mean, I thought I'd wanted to be a high school math teacher and then got to like calculus 3 in college and was just hating it. And I was like, there's no way this is what I'm actually supposed to keep doing. And there was a local monthly open mic at my college and I did it once. And I feel like if it goes even marginally well the first time, it's so addicting and you just want to keep doing it. You want to keep getting better. And now it's been, you know, over 10 years and it's like, it makes me so happy. Like I still love my job so much. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, maybe that's just maybe that'll be the priority in your life.
I mean,
forever,
I feel like,
or for an undetermined period of time or whatever.
Yeah. I think you have to make it at least number 2. But I think most comedians, we make it number 1 because it's so important to us.
What rooms do you like to play the most?
Oh, on the road, Comedy Works in Denver, it has to be my favorite. I mean, it's just, I feel like every comic feels that way. It's such a great club. The crowds are bananas. The staff, the management, everybody there takes such good care of comics. They put you up in great condos. I love that club. I love Helium in Portland. I love Tacoma Comedy Club. And then obviously like in New York, the Cellar and the Stand. And
you get to the Cellar once in a while?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, thanks. So, I mean, there's so many great clubs on the road, but those are probably my top 3, I would say.
Let me know when you sell it, because I'm in the city all the time.
Oh,
we
okay.
like to go there.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted.
Well, thank you for coming in and spending some time with me and revisiting this topic.
Oh, boy.
People reacted to it, and I thought...
I did not realize that.
Well, and I thought, just about everybody, my own wife was like, she's lying, she's not telling the truth. I thought, even you? My God.
My God.
Yeah, and I thought, no, she's not. I know she's not. And I thought, I got to bring her back and get into this in more detail.
Well, I'm glad we could get it
literally,
settled.
it literally is. I hope we did. It literally is a group that is discriminated against. You're actively discriminated against. It's so funny to me.
So weird to be discriminated against, but we're still like, haha, we're still coming. It's like, suck it. Like it's not that rough of a group to be in. To be just like, there's a lot of groups that have it way worse to be discriminated against.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that. And again, DrDrew.tv for the streaming show on Sunday, and also DrDrew.com for me and Adam and the Dr. Drew podcast. And we'll be here, of course, as always. Check us out, and we'll see you next time. All conversations and information exchanged during participation in the Dr. Drew After Dark podcast or interaction on the DrDrew.com website is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Do not confuse this with treatment or physician medical advice or direction per se. You must always follow your medical professional's advice and direction. Nothing on these podcasts or posted on this site supplements or supersedes the relationship and direction of your medical caretakers. Please understand, I am not playing the role of physician in this environment per se. I'm educating. I am a licensed physician with specialty boards in American Board of Internal Medicine and American Board of Addiction Medicine.